stretch of record heat continues, but then some rain in our forecast. I'll let you know if our rain will last into the holiday weekend.
Hot classrooms. Wake County Public Schools is reporting HVAC issues on some local campuses. What the district is doing to make sure your children stay cool in this heat.
He was sacrificing his life.
Security guard identified. We now know the name of the man who gave his life protecting others in the San Diego mosque shooting. We hear from someone who knew the man about his heroic sacrifice. Another record hot afternoon is on the way. Good afternoon to you. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Levinger. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner right now taking a quick look at how things are going to be. Hot, I think, is the key word, but a beautiful look outside of downtown Raleigh.
It really is. And it doesn't feel too bad just yet, but over the next hour to 2 hours, it's really going to get into that zone where you're better off just not doing too much outside. This is a live look, of course, at downtown Raleigh from our Jimmy V camera down Fayetteville Street. Nothing but blue sky across our viewing area right now, but it's almost 90 here at noon. Our wind is coming out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour, and that solid southwesterly flow that keeps on coming is pushing that warmth into our area. It's actually, interestingly, a little bit cooler in Fayetteville at 85. It's 86 in Roxborough and 90 already in South Hill. So it will be a fast warm up for us. We'll likely break the record high if we hit 96, which we did yesterday. That will end up breaking today's record of 95. And then after that, we'll cool off slowly. By the time we get past sunset, we're finally down into a more comfortable zone into the low 80s. Looking ahead, we get out of our heat by the time we get to Thursday. We have a cold front that'll come through. That will help to drop our temperatures and bring us a chance for thunderstorms. And it's not just Thursday and Friday, but all the way through the holiday weekend. Take a look at our weekend outlook. Temperatures will be cooler, still on the warm side, mid to upper 80s, which is a little above normal. But we have a 50% chance of rain Saturday, Sunday, and for Monday. Most of that will be scattered afternoon and evening thunderstorms. It could interrupt some of your weekend plans, but it should give us some significant rainfall. I'll talk about how much it could be coming up.
All right, well, thank you, Elizabeth. Well, at least 4 Wake County schools saw warm classrooms yesterday, and that includes Reedy Creek Middle School and Salem Elementary, which stopped working for part of the day. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live outside the Wake County School Board building right now. And Carly, despite the high temperatures, instruction continued today.
Did say that at least Reedy Creek Middle School staff said that staff members were back out earlier this morning repairing that system, replacing some parts so that things could get back up and running today. Yesterday, some classrooms reached 80-degree temperatures, and we just spoke with the chief of operations and maintenance at Wake County Public Schools, and they said that it was more than just 2 schools. Several schools had this issue. Of course, it brings back those concerns over district-wide HVAC issues. WRAL investigates that HVAC problems have closed or dismissed at least 60 schools since 2023, and school leaders have been making efforts to fix the issues, such as doubling their HVAC maintenance budget between 2023 and 2025. The chief of maintenance told us that the ongoing issues come down to staffing shortages, funding, and aging infrastructure. And there isn't necessarily a temperature threshold that schools use to determine whether or not to close early or cancel altogether. It ultimately comes down to a decision made by the school's principal. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
We now know the name of a security guard killed in a shooting at a mosque in San Diego. 3 people died when 2 gunmen opened fire. Security guard Amin Abdullah warned teachers to lock the doors to their classrooms, saving lives. 2 teenage attackers fatally shot 3 men at the mosque. Officers say Abdullah played a pivotal role in preventing the attack from becoming much worse.
I truly know in my heart from knowing that man that he was sacrificing his life and took that bullet knowing that I'd rather take it than the kids. And that is what makes me emotional.
About 2 hours before the attack, the mother of one of the suspects called police to report that her son had left home with several of her guns and her car. The woman said he and a companion were dressed in camouflage. The 2 were later found dead inside the car from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Officers say one of the suspects left behind a note that included hate speech. A Johnson County man suspected of stabbing his mother to death is due in court this afternoon. 43-year-old Michael Sanders is charged with first-degree murder. It happened yesterday morning at Heritage Court Apartments on East Main Street. Police say 65-year-old Roby Sanders was stabbed multiple times and died at the scene.
A Raleigh man is facing 2 counts of indecent exposure. NC State police say he exposed himself on a Greenway trail, and that happened on the Rocky Branch Greenway Trail near the intersection of Western Boulevard and Pullen Road last night. Court documents show 35-year-old Kent Jacobs exposed himself to 2 people and an NC State police officer. He's being held in jail on a $2,000 bond. And the husband of an Apex woman found dead at Jordan Lake will spend the rest of his life in prison. Omar Matthew Ibrahim Drabik was charged with first-degree murder in the death of Hadil Hikmat, and yesterday he pled guilty to a lesser charge of second-degree murder, sentenced to life without parole.
New this hour, an arrest warrant has been issued for the former chair of the Political Action Committee of the Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People. Cassandra Stokes was indicted yesterday for embezzlement and obtaining property by false pretenses. The indictment says Stokes fraudulently and knowingly took nearly $75,000 from the committee for her own personal use in 2023 and 24. This indictment comes after a year-long SBI investigation.
And I'm Laura Levine in the WRAL Live Center this noon. A Wake Forest farmers market manager made her first court appearance today after being accused of embezzlement. We're talking about Michelle Fryman. Michelle Fryman was the Wake Forest farmers market manager, where she's now facing 1 count of embezzlement after a 3-month investigation by the Wake Forest Police Department. As I mentioned, she made that first court appearance today, where she did waive her right for counsel at a Granville County court appearance at 9 a.m. Now, she was arrested last night by the Granville County Sheriff's Office and later issued a $20,000 secure bond. She's accused of misappropriating more than $6,500 when she was the manager for the farmers market.
Well, new at noon, a high school near Charlotte is appealing to the state government because an athlete was disqualified, and that cost his team a state title. WRAL's Luis Fernandez joins us more to talk about this. And Luis, what are we hearing specifically about this?
Well, Chris, this morning, the NCHSAA said Mallard Creek is exercising its right under state law to appeal to an independent board appointed by State Superintendent Mo Green. Remember, it was this gesture from runner Nyan Brown that disqualified the team from the 4x400 relay. The first place finish would have locked up a state title for Mallard Creek. Now, according to the NCHSAA, an official warned the team about an earlier incident where Brown apparently flexed at photographers. Mallard Creek's head coach raised an issue with how that part of the story unfolded. Some technical issues there, sorry for that, but he says that the team as well as Brown were not properly warned for that. We have more on our website of him statements as well. We have this statement from student athlete Nyan Brown. He said, in part, while I am disappointed in the final decision, I believe this moment creates an opportunity for a larger conversation within track and field about allowing young athletes to celebrate major accomplishments. A note on the official involved in all this, NCHSAA says that person is USA Track and Field certified and has been working the state championships for years.
New this morning, Governor Josh Stein signs an executive order aimed at tackling housing affordability in North Carolina. Stein is directing state agencies to work together to increase housing supply and improve affordability across the state. The order creates a new senior housing policy advisor position inside the governor's office. Stein says the state faces a shortage of hundreds of thousands of housing units in the coming years as rising rents and home prices continue to squeeze families.
You all have heard the expression that if you build it, they will come. Turns out in North Carolina, if you don't build it, they will still come. People want to live and work here, but we simply do not have enough homes to meet that growing demand.
The move comes as lawmakers are debating several bills aimed at addressing rising housing costs. We will have coverage on those throughout the day. For more on the executive order and the latest bills, head to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche faced some pretty heated questions this morning from Democratic senators about the Justice Department's announcement in creating that $1.8 billion fund after President Trump decided to drop the lawsuit against the IRS. Now, he is appearing before a subcommittee today to testify about the DOJ's budget request, and he was asked numerous questions, including this: who actually will have access to apply to those funds? Take a listen.
Will you commit that no one who has been convicted of assaulting a police officer will receive a payout from this fund?
Anybody can apply. The commissioners will set rules, I'm sure. That's not for me to set. That's for the commissioners. And whether an individual, an oath keeper, as you just mentioned, applies for compensation, is anybody in this country can apply.
So that line of questioning was regarding the people involved in the insurrection on January 6th, regarding those people who could apply for those funds. He also said that he would be the one to appoint the 5 commissioners in charge of the fund.
A significant update in that story. Thank you, Laura. Well, starting today, WakeMed wants to hear from you about its deal with Atrium Health. It's holding a series of community forums across Wake County, and that's because this month, county commissioners voted to delay their decision on the acquisition. Here's WRAL's Ali Kadhabar with more.
People will have 6 opportunities over the next 2 weeks to ask WakeMed leaders and board members about its proposed deal with Atrium Health. There will be 5 in-person sessions and 1 virtual. WakeMed leaders will start with a presentation of what the takeover would look like. Then people can ask questions. Earlier this month, Atrium Health proposed a $2 billion plan that would see the Charlotte-based system take over WakeMed. A few days later, Wake County commissioners decided to put a 90-day hold on a decision. They wanted people's input. Wake County Commissioner Don Miles says these forums could help them make a decision on the deal.
The rationale there is to have community engagement and give everybody the opportunity to get their concerns addressed. What we'll be looking at in terms of what comes out of this process, and then that will help us make a determination how we move forward.
And the first listening session is tonight at 6 at the Andrews Conference Center here at the WakeMed Raleigh campus. You can find more dates on these listening sessions on WRAL.com. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Kadhabar, WRAL News.
The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation headquarters is getting an upgrade. This morning, the state broke ground on the new campus over on Garner Road in Raleigh. This is the first step in a 4-phase plan to transform the site. The new campus will consolidate employees from several locations into one modern, state-of-the-art facility. Plans include expanding its logistics operations, adding a campus maintenance facility, and more parking.
We have to be the tip of the spear when it comes to technology. The only way I can do that, or the best way I can do that, is to get everybody under one household. That way I can mitigate any issues that are going on across the state.
Construction is expected to wrap up in late 2027. Personnel are expected to move into the new facilities in early 2028.
Next at noon, new day, more Ebola. We're talking about hundreds more cases that are being reported in Africa, including an American. What's being done now in the U.S. to reduce the risk of an outbreak here?
Love ain't cheap, and that's why some couples are switching up date night. Hear what changes are happening because of so-called dateflation.
Plus, capping state income tax. What's being done to give you a voice in keeping more money in your paycheck, and why critics say it would be a short-sighted move.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
The World Health Organization says there are now 500 suspected cases and at least 131 deaths regarding Ebola. The organization's director general says he is deeply concerned about the scale and the speed of this epidemic. Overnight, the CDC said an American tested positive in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A missionary who was treating patients there has now tested positive. The doctor and his family, as well as a group of high-risk contacts, are now being transferred to Germany for treatment. And the State Department has banned travelers from entering the U.S. who have visited impacted countries in the past 21 days.
Debate is growing in Tennessee after the Knox County School Board banned the book Roots by Alex Haley. The district's banned book list drew strong reactions because of Alex Haley's ties to Knoxville and the book's influence nationally and internationally. Haley made Knoxville his home after retirement and remained deeply connected to the community. The book, published in 1976, traced his family history and the legacy of slavery in America. The book and television miniseries helped spark widespread interest in genealogy and ancestry research. Board members say some passages and language in the book are unflinching and graphic, which led to the ban.
History is not to harm you. It's not to make you sad, though it might. It's not to make you mad, though it will. It's not to condemn. History is just truth, and truth is what sets us free.
Supporters of the decision say the district is complying with Tennessee law, while opponents say removing a book as influential as Roots risks limiting access to important history.
Career time is 12:16 this afternoon, and we're getting a live look at the DBAP. And I looked over and said, oh, there's a lot's going on there. Good day for baseball, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially it's a good day if you got the seats in the shade. So I've had the pleasure multiple times of going out on these days, which is education days. And you can't see, but over here on the third baseline, there are all sorts of educational exhibits for the kids to see.
Love that.
And then they get to enjoy a baseball game and some hot dogs and a hot afternoon. Let's take a look at what it feels like. It's 89 right now, but we don't have much of a heat index, and we'll talk about why that is. We have a southwest wind at 10, so there's a little bit of breeze stirring things up, and the game started an hour ago, so it is going to heat up a little bit while they're still out there. But again, there's some nice shady spots out there at the DBAP. What about tomorrow's game? Well, it's going to start a little on the hot side at 6 o'clock, 92 degrees, but it does drop nicely as we get through the evening. By 8 o'clock, we're back into the 80s, and it looks like it'll be dry for Wednesday. After that, it does look like it's going to be a little bit on the wet side. This is a look at our heat index. And so our dew point, or the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, is fairly low. So we don't have a huge heat index. It feels like a couple of degrees warmer in Roxborough and South Hill, maybe 1 degree warmer in Durham and Chapel Hill, and a couple degrees warmer there in Southern Pine. So it's not a big heat index that we'll have to deal with today, but it is hot. And of course, this is really the first heat wave of significance that we've seen this year. Temperatures in the mid-90s for Raleigh and Durham, 97 in Fayetteville, and that will end up breaking the record high. The record high for today is 95, and our forecast is 96. And then for tomorrow, we could tie it there at 96 in Raleigh. After that, we're going to see some big changes. For now, this high pressure system has parked itself off the coast of North Carolina, and it is rotating clockwise. And so that is feeding in tropical warmth and some tropical moisture, not as much as if it was, say, July or August. But it does keep the flow of hot air moving into our region, and it also blocks storms to the west from coming our way. So this afternoon, looking at 96, we move it ahead to tomorrow, and we continue to see that flow coming out of the south, keeping things very hot. This cold front is going to come to our rescue and cool us down at least a little bit for tomorrow, bringing more cloud cover, or for Thursday, more cloud cover and a chance of showers and storms. And then it will sink a little farther south, and you can see that flow coming out of the northeast. We may be as cool as 70s on Friday. Notice how the moisture continues to climb. Now, today, we're not looking at much of a heat index because we're actually closer to the tolerable end of steamy. But by Friday and Saturday, we're pushing tropical, not because it's going to be hot. It's just because it's going to be wet. So we have a good chance for rain on Friday, and we may see that on and off. We'll take a look at Futurecast in a few minutes. Right now, I feel like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday will mainly feature afternoon and evening thunderstorms and not all day rain, but we'll be watching that very closely. It is 5 days in a row of rain, so we'll talk about how much we could total in the rain gauges coming up.
We have new information coming into the WRAL Live Center this noon. A loaded gun was found on the campus of East Wake High School today. A letter was sent to families notifying them about what happened. It says, to keep you informed, I wanted to let you know about an incident that occurred today. It says this morning, a staff member reported to administration that a student had a firearm on campus. Administration and law enforcement quickly located the student and determined that they were in possession of a loaded gun. They go ahead to say that the Wake County Public School staff worked in conjunction with local authorities, the Wake County Sheriff's Office, to confiscate the firearm. Also mentioning that having a weapon on school campus, of course, is a very serious offense. And this is something that we will follow here on WRAL.
We certainly will. Laura, thank you. Still no answers. The search resumes today for a kayaker who vanished on Roanoke Rapids Lake last week. New at 5, we hear from his family as loved ones continue holding on to hope.
Plus, schools shutting down. More schools across central North Carolina are closing or consolidating, which is why tonight at 6, WRAL investigates the factors driving the changes and what it could mean for families.
Summer is just around the corner and singles are ready to mingle. But a recent survey found the high cost of a night on the town is turning singles off. Jen Sullivan looks at how dateflation is changing the way people are dating.
The cost to eat out has gotten more expensive, and if you're going out on dates, those costs can add up. According to data from BMO Bank, singles spend an average of $189 on a date night. That's $21 more than last year, and it's changing the way people are dating.
I think the dinner date is becoming less common for a first date.
Stevie Bowen is a certified dating coach and has clients all over the country. She says she's noticed singles are ditching dating apps and instead opting to connect in person.
I think it really is just the counter response to all this technology and AI rise happening around us.
Bowen says people are turning to singles events. Sites like meetup.com and Luma have lists of meetup events based on your location. Things like pottery class, cooking class, pickleball tournaments. And then there are sites like City Swoon for speed dating.
There's so many different new ways and creative ways people are trying to meet people and meet like-minded people.
Bowen says these single events can cost between $120 to $160, but your dollar goes a lot further because you're meeting more people for that price. When you do meet someone you like, she says keep the first date simple.
Go drinks or go coffee, something that is low stakes, low cost.
Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center, staying on top of the latest regarding that loaded gun found on East Wake High School's campus today. All of this information coming as parents were calling into the newsroom concerned about not being notified today regarding this. We were able to obtain a letter that was sent to parents about the situation from Wake County Public Schools. It says that this morning a staff member reported to administration that a student had a firearm on campus. Administration and law enforcement quickly located that student and did find that student with a loaded gun. Now, they're also advising parents to have discussions with their students about those firearms and also making sure at home firearms are locked and stored away. But you may recall that Say Something, See Something anonymous reporting system. They're also advising people to remember that they can use this, especially during a time like this when you may see a situation on campus. Of course, we're asking more questions about when parents were notified about the situation and the timeline of events. Of course, we'll keep you updated here on WRAL.
Or this is a good reminder for people that when they want us to know something, you can always tell us on WRAL.com/report it. That way we can start digging into it and get some answers for you at home. Well, in less than 30 minutes, Raleigh City Council members will meet to discuss a state grant to prevent scammers from blocking 911 calls. Raleigh Wake 911 is receiving a nearly $250,000 grant from the state, and that money would be used to fund cybersecurity protection, according to city documents. Cybersecurity attacks on 911 systems are on the rise. And a recent report found attacks happened every 74 days back in 2024, and it was more frequent in 2025 at 60 days. That can lead to longer wait times, poor audio quality on calls, and in worst cases, 911 systems could go down. The city says the call center has not had any recent cybersecurity threats, and the funding would be used for firewall maintenance. And tonight, the Wake School Board is set to vote on whether to change calendars at 8 schools. These schools are all multi-track year-round schools, and that means they rotate up to 4 groups of students in and out of school for 12 months. That increases the school's capabilities, but it also costs more. The district expects to save about $1 million, give or take, by converting the school calendars to traditional. Parents in Holly Springs and Wake Forest have said they want their schools to stay year-round.
An AI system used to read graduates' names during a commencement ceremony in Arizona malfunctioned, leaving students and families frustrated. Amy Cutler spoke with a graduate who says shifting to AI for the special moment felt deeply impersonal.
What a mess for everyone involved here at Glendale Community College. Students work so hard to get to this point, to get their diploma and graduate, and they say the school should have been better prepared.
Michael D. Gonzalez.
The names being read during GCC's commencement didn't appear to match who was walking across stage.
India Hall.
Then the names at the bottom of the screen stopped changing.
Azucena de Mesa Jimenez.
Then the screen on the left goes blank.
I was honestly just proud to be there in the moment.
It was only after Grace Reimer crossed the stage and returned to her seat that she realized something was off. Here's the photo. That's her on stage. That's not her name.
But I also didn't hear a lot of cheering, and I know that my family is a pretty loud family.
Several minutes later,
Grace Marie Reimer.
She finally heard her name.
Yeah, that's not right, and it definitely made me feel uneasy.
Here's what's happening. We're using a new AI system as our reader. So that is a lesson learned for us.
GCC's president, Tiffany Hernandez, tried to explain what was going on, but it didn't sit well with Reimer and several other students we spoke with.
It didn't feel sincere, and it kind of felt like they didn't care.
In response to our questions, GCC says, while the issue was corrected during the ceremony, we are sorry for the disruption it caused. We have also communicated directly with graduates to apologize. Students tell us they received an email with that apology this afternoon.
I would have liked a little bit more thought to go into it rather than pushing something as simple as reading some names off to an AI device.
The school says students who wanted to recross the stage were able to do so after, with an actual person reading their name.
A growing number of schools are turning to artificial intelligence to help avoid possible stumbles by human staff members. One AI tool, which handles a range of graduation logistics, allows students to scan a QR code before they step on stage, and the program then plays the AI recording of their name that they approved in advance.
Rising costs and limited money to pay the bills. Some school districts are coming up with the money by merging or even closing schools altogether. WRAL Investigates' Destiny Patterson is digging into why this is happening and what families can expect in the years to come.
We're standing at the future site of the Holly Recreational Complex, but this was also once where Holly Middle School stood in Granville County. This is one of the more than a dozen schools in our area to close in the last 4 years. Granville, Nash, and Cumberland counties lost the most schools, and that number could grow even more next year. It's not just a North Carolina issue either. Public schools are closing and consolidating across the country. The big question is why.
Unfortunately, the business side of things often is what really is driving the decisions. Budgets are extremely tight in public education, and we need to make every dollar count.
School districts are dealing with those issues right now, but there's another big part of the equation. Tonight at 6, WRAL Investigates is looking into the problem that could haunt school districts for years to come. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News.
Cocktail drinks in grocery stores as North Carolina lawmakers are moving forward with a proposal that could change the state's liquor laws. Pre-mixed cocktails, also known as canned cocktails, are sold only in North Carolina's state-run ABC stores. That's because they're made with spirits. Well, legislatures this morning advanced a bill that would allow the drinks to be sold in grocery stores. The bill goes now to another committee for review, and you can keep up with that proposal by checking the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. Your time on this Tuesday afternoon, I should say, is 12:36. A warning on supplements. Just because you see social media touting its benefits doesn't mean you should take them. The concerns about what could be in them and what that means for your health.
Place to relax. We will show you the new garden at UNC Health to help healthcare workers unwind and reset during work hours. You can watch WRAL News live on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. With so many supplements being promoted on social media these days, it can be tempting to want to try them all, but taking too many can actually be unsafe. A specialist in integrated medicine says supplements should be treated the same as medication, meaning it is best to make sure that you really need them and aren't just taking something that you saw randomly promoted online. It's also important to understand that many supplements do not have scientific backing and are not FDA approved. So if you're going to take any, be sure to check to see if they are third-party tested and are screened for heavy metals and contaminants.
Anything beyond the vitamins and minerals, particularly when it involves botanicals or nutraceuticals, so those are extracts coming from plants, you want to be very careful because there's potential for, again, medicine and herb interactions or even toxicity or contaminants.
Women who are pregnant or thinking of getting pregnant should be especially careful with supplements.
Some healthcare workers in Colorado are finding respite in a new wellness garden. Soft grass and the sounds of birds chirping now fills the new UC Health Memorial Central Garden. Studies prove that spending time outside can lower stress, reduce anxiety, and improve focus. Hospital leaders say that the space is designed to offer health professionals a place to unwind and reduce stress during their 12-hour shifts.
Safe space where patients can go, or where staff can go from kind of that high intensity environment to a place where they can kind of recharge, be grounded, and go back to patient care, kind of fully present for the patients. Because I think patients really deserve the highest level of care.
And the garden features walking paths, benches, and flowers planted by community members and healthcare workers too.
Severe storms across parts of the Midwest. When some people can finally expect to catch a break.
The North Carolina Senate is active this afternoon as lawmakers are expected to vote on a proposal that could limit how high the state can raise income taxes.
WRAL's Sean Gallagher is outside the Senate chambers as discussion continues on this. Sean, what's going on right now?
Yeah, just in the last 15 minutes or so, that potential tax cap cleared its first hurdle. The Senate passing this amendment right along party lines, Republicans 30-18, so it could make its way to the ballot this fall for voters to decide. But the proposed amendment would cap the income tax rate at 3.5%. Compare that to the 7% cap we currently have. This would set a hard ceiling on what would come out of your paycheck. Supporters say it protects taxpayers and keeps North Carolina competitive for jobs and growth. But opponents say it only benefits the wealthy and that it could limit the state's ability to respond during economic downturns. And that could put pressure on funding for things like schools, roads, and public safety.
To the people of North Carolina, do not be fooled. This amendment is not about care. It is about choreography. To my colleagues, theatrics during a moment of great need is a waste of time, and it is a slap in the face to the families who are counting on us to help them.
This tax cap is at 3.5%. And we've made a commitment to the voters, to the citizens of North Carolina, to reduce the tax burden on them. And this is one way that we can do it, is to put it to them. It's not us making that decision.
So now that it's passed the one hurdle here in the Senate, it will likely make its way across the hall all the way over here to the House, where they are likely to take that bill up this afternoon. If they approve it, then it'll be up to you to decide. This proposed tax cap will then go on the ballot in the fall for voters to again decide. Inside the legislature, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
A two-day hearing into the deadly crash of a UPS airplane in Kentucky is now underway. The fiery crash happened in November. 14 people died, including the 3 crew members who were on the plane. Representatives from UPS, Boeing, the FAA, and the pilots union are expected to testify over the course of 2 days. A preliminary NTSB report showed a failure of a pair of structural fittings that kept the left engine attached to the wing. UPS says it will no longer use MD-11 jets. Thousands of customers are without power in Missouri following dangerous storms. Severe weather ramped up across the Midwest Monday, bringing life-threatening storms. There were multiple reported tornadoes from Kansas, Missouri, and into Nebraska. No homes were damaged or destroyed. No injuries were reported as of yesterday afternoon. Severe storm and tornado potential will decrease today as that weather system pushes east.
Well, clearly some activity out there, but we're curious to see what we're going to get for this week. I know there's some rain that's in the forecast, but we're still a couple of days out from that, Elizabeth.
Yeah, that same system has been stalled, and so they've had a lot of rain and severe weather, and it will move here then and stall over us for the holiday weekend. But we're not expecting anything severe out of it. What we're seeing now, of course, is very hot conditions yesterday, today, tomorrow, all in the mid to upper 90s with record highs. This, of course, is a look at Longleaf Golf and Family Club. It looks like there are a few people out there. It is starting to really heat up. I imagine, hopefully anyway, people will head in the next hour or so. Southwest wind at 10. Right now it's 89, and by the middle of the afternoon we'll climb up to 96 in the Triangle. That will break the previous record for today, which is 95. 96 in Fayetteville, 97 in South Hill, 96 in Rocky Mount. That's where we're headed this afternoon. Here's why. This high pressure system, we talked about it earlier. This is our Bermuda high, and a lot of times it just parks itself here for the summer, and we have winds that rotate clockwise around a high. So in that position, it just pumps the heat and humidity in, but it keeps the thunderstorms back to the west, the cold fronts, that sort of thing. And so we'll have some pop-up thunderstorms, but we don't ever get a good soaking rain like we get with a cold front. This one, of course, producing a lot of severe weather from Missouri all the way down to Texas. We're seeing a line of severe storms. As it moves here, it will lose its severe capability, but it should help to bring us some significant rainfall. We'll see the front stalled here. The moisture will continue to move up to the front, and that front will be able to interact with it to produce some showers. 6:30 on Thursday morning, we are looking at some clouds rolling in, and then some isolated showers and thunderstorms on through the afternoon. And it looks like on this version of Futurecast, it could continue up until around midnight or just after. Right now, Friday afternoon looks a little bit drier, maybe a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, and then we'll jump ahead and take a look at, this is our long range model, so it's not as finely detailed as the short range model is, but what it shows us is a chance of rain each day. I wouldn't get too hung up on the timing from this particular model, but you can see all the way out through Monday, we have the potential for some rain. How much are we talking about? Well, it's a 60% chance Thursday and Friday, 50% Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Right now, it looks like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday would be some scattered thunderstorms with a better chance for rain Thursday and Friday, of course. But all total for the next 7 days, including Monday, 1 inch to 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches in some places, and that is some much needed rain. Again, the next couple of days, we still have those 90s. Today, 96 is our record. Tomorrow, 96 will be tying. And Thursday is still going to be a little hot until the rain begins. But then after that, we're at least a little bit cooler as we get through the weekend. But with that chance for thunderstorms, you may have to rearrange your plans a bit. Keep checking back with us for timeline as it gets closer to the weekend.
Elizabeth, thank you. In the famous words of Gloria Estefan, the rhythm is going to get you. Our pet of the day has a name that makes you want to move and groove. We will introduce you to this beauty after the break.
Plus, we do have a look at your winning Powerball numbers right here on your screen. 4, 13, 34, 61, 65. The Powerball is 12, and the Power Play multiplier is 2. No, go back to the beach. Don't look at me. It's an awesome day outside, right? Well, as we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. Juvenile petitions are expected to be filed after a loaded gun was found at East Wake High School. The Wake County Sheriff's Office said they received a report of that loaded firearm this morning, and the school resource officer worked with the administrators to locate the teen student. Wake County School says that student will be disciplined, including a 365-day suspension, as is required by state law.
A man accused of stabbing and killing his mother is expected in Johnston County Court this afternoon. 43-year-old Michael Sanders is charged with murder. Clayton police say his mother, 65-year-old Roby Sanders, was found stabbed to death at Heritage Court Apartments yesterday morning. Sanders is being held on no bond. His court appearance is scheduled for 2 o'clock.
At least 4 Wake County schools saw warm classrooms yesterday, and that includes Reedy Creek Middle School and Salem Elementary, which stopped working for part of the day. WRAL Investigates reports the HVAC problems have closed or dismissed more than 60 schools since 2023. School leaders have been making some efforts to fix the issue, doubling their HVAC maintenance budget between 2023 and 25. The chief of maintenance told us it comes down to staffing shortages, funding, and aging infrastructure.
The matchup for the Eastern Conference Final is now set. The Carolina Hurricanes will play the Montreal Canadiens for a place in the Stanley Cup Final. The Canadiens eliminated the Buffalo Sabres last night with a 3-2 overtime win in Game 7 of their series. Now Montreal will travel to Raleigh for Game 1 of the conference final. That will be Thursday night at 8. The Canes will also host Game 2 on Saturday night.
Researchers from around the world say they identified more than 1,100 previously unknown species in the world's oceans last year. Scientists with the Ocean Census made 13 expeditions to some of the world's least explored oceans over the last year. A worm that makes its home inside a glass castle, a mysterious ghost shark, and a carnivorous death ball sponge. That sounds terrifying. There are just a few of the species uncovered. It's unclear, though, whether all of the creatures are completely new to science. Underwater life faces immense challenges because of climate change as oceans warm, and this is from pollution.
Our pet of the day from Red Barn Rescue will put you in a dancing mood. Zumba is a 5-month-old Labrador Hound mix with plenty of puppy charm. She's social, friendly, and so curious about the world around her, especially birds, which she'd happily chase if given the chance. Zumba also loves water. Car rides can make her a little nervous, but she handles them quietly and calmly. Zumba is spayed, vaccinated, and ready for a foster or forever home. You can apply at redbarnrescue.com to meet her. All right, take it easy outside, even though it is beautiful. Remember, we could set a record high. We're talking 96 degrees that we could hit today. So just stay hydrated and wear that sunscreen. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And just a reminder, you can always get breaking news as well as your latest weather reports with the WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.